Welcome into One-on-One on OSU Student Radio, KXUY, Sunlink Channel 112. We are live from Studio 318 here on the beautiful campus of Oklahoma State University. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Mosier as always. Logan, we're going to jump into some college football, some NFL, talk about the NBA headlines. Jimmy Butler is probably sitting at home watching this show because he's not at practice.
He's still in Minnesota.
And
for sure.
We'll get into playoff baseball. Colicchio and Liam are tied. The Red Sox and Yankees are at 1-1, but we'll get into that in the last segment. Let's start with some news in college football.
Okay.
It seems to me that the world is taking a turn. Oklahoma State is not very good at football.
Yeah.
There's more Gundys on the OU coaching staff than there is Stoops. And Kentucky took an L. What's going on?
Well,
Alabama's still very good, by the way.
Yeah,
they didn't cover it.
there.
They didn't cover at Arkansas.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of Alabama fans online. They were getting mad that they allowed 35 points, and they were like, "This defense is awful." And I'm just sitting back thinking, like,
yeah, we allowed 48 and lost.
Yeah,
so.
And if Alabama only allowed 35 because they wanted to, if Alabama wanted to shut Arkansas out, they probably could have shut them out.
Well, we'll start with the top 25 games that we went over. And we'll start there with Alabama. They were 35.5-point favorites. They won by 34.
Dang.
Now, here's a stat line for you. Tua Tagovailoa, 10 of 13, 334 yards and 4 touchdowns. 10 completions for over 300 yards, and 4 of his 10 completions were touchdowns. 65-31. Those 31 were charity points.
Yeah.
But Nick Saban did come out and criticize his defense because I guess he has to.
I was about to say, you have to find something to motivate these guys because, I mean, do they think anyone can beat them?
No one can beat Alabama.
I mean,
no one will be able.
You have to keep them from getting complacent.
Well, if this goes the way that a lot of people think it will go, and somehow Central Florida squeaks in to, they would get the 4 seed if they did squeak in.
Mm-hmm.
In all seriousness, I think Alabama could beat them worse than they did Arkansas.
You think worse than Arkansas?
Worse than Arkansas, if they wanted to.
Okay. Yeah.
I know. I'm not saying they would beat them worse, but if they wanted to, they could beat them worse than Arkansas. And with the amount of
You're
trash
saying
talk,
like more than 34.
yes.
Okay.
It's going to be very interesting. But there's a lot of football. Alabama could get upset. Who knows? Georgia got an easy win over Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Oh, the 3-4 teams. Ohio State was close at first. They won. Clemson. No one knows that Wake Forest even has a football team, so no one was shocked there.
It's a good basketball program, though.
Since Chris Paul left, is it?
I mean, no. But, I mean, you just got –
I'm
just talking about their alumni. You got Tim Duncan, Chris Paul.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is it. So we'll start down.
That's better. That's the best 2 players out of, here and there. I'd rather have those 2 guys because, I mean, the best 2 players come out of Oklahoma State are Big Country and Marcus Smart.
Yeah, probably.
Tony Allen, Marcus Smart,
no one's really gone to dominate at the level. We've had probably a lot better college players at that because Chris Paul and Tim Duncan, as good as they were in college, aren't like when you think of elite college players, they're not who you think of. But they went on when it really mattered, and it worked for them in the NBA.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start with where I was right. By the way, if we have time that last segment, Conor McGregor got smoked as anyone thought he would that knew this. Number 5, LSU. I said that Florida would win on a late field goal.
You were wrong.
They won on a late pick 6. 27-19 over number 5 Louisiana State, LSU. No one calls them Louisiana State. Florida got that important win. Were you shocked that they got that win?
I was. I thought it would be close. I thought LSU was going to pull it out. I didn't follow your late field goal theory. I mean,
it was close.
It was.
It was a late score that won. It wasn't. Joe Burrow, I think, has turned into what every other LSU quarterback is. He transfers from Ohio State. People thought he was going to be the tipping point for that offense. But when your head coach is still Ed Orgeron, what did I say about Ed Orgeron on Friday? He doesn't win these games. Yeah. No one is scared of Ed Orgeron. No one. And when they play Alabama, it's going to get ugly because LSU is not that good. So I was happy to see Florida. There's no way they were losing with Tim Tebow getting in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
No way.
That was
no
a pretty
chance.
Big deal.
Notre Dame, where I was wrong, though, is Notre Dame went in and handled Virginia Tech in the second half with ease, 45-23 over the Hokies.
A 28-point second half.
Oh.
What do you think Notre Dame is now? Like what's their ceiling this season? Is it the playoffs?
Yeah, the college football playoff, because their schedule is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, their schedule is, they're probably going to win out. But they're just like, what was it, 2013, when they had an easy schedule and they went to the college football playoff, or then the BCS National Championship game.
Yeah.
It'll be the same thing. I'm not worried about Notre Dame winning a national championship.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, looking at their schedule, you're right. There's not any.
There is no one.
I mean, Florida State's not what we thought they were going to be. They're awful. Syracuse is awful. Northwestern, not.
That game, Syracuse, is going to be close.
You think so?
It'll be by Notre Dame Syracuse standards. When is that game?
That is November 17th at 1:30 p.m. on NBC.
October 17th or November 17th? Oh, November. I'm thinking of December. Then I was like, that's a really late game. That's one. So that'll be right at the end of the season.
Yes, it's their next to last game.
Ooh, that's a tricky one. That is one that you have to watch out. Is it in South Bend or Syracuse?
It's in South Bend.
Oh, okay. Then I'll give it to the Fighting Irish.
But their last game is at USC, and we don't. I mean, I'm just.
That's a cool trip to the beach, I guess.
I'm just looking for trip games, maybe. I don't know.
Number 8, Auburn lost. A lot of teams went on the road in the SEC and lost. UCLA and
Washington,
Nebraska are 0-5.
Yeah.
That is insane. Now let's start with another SEC game. What SEC game am I referring to,
Kentucky
Logan?
and Texas A&M.
Took an L.
But not
losers.
Not like you thought they would, though. You thought they were going
to
go in and get dominated.
It doesn't matter to me. They lost. I don't care how it happened.
They played close.
They lost.
It went to overtime. You have to have some kind of respect for Kentucky after that. I know it's a loss, and you can't be like, oh, that's great, they lost.
And I said I had respect for Kentucky last week, but I don't quite. 10-2 is what they'll be. That's really good, but their schedule is not great. They're not. It's not like they're in Alabama. I know they beat Florida. I don't even give them the respect of Florida because of the history that Florida has. That was my issue with Kentucky, is so people are quick to anoint them like, oh, look, they've really turned a corner. They've done this before, and then they fall back to what reality. So as impressive as Kentucky is, and I think that they're the best they've been in a long time, maybe ever at Kentucky, have a lot of talent on offense. But at the end of the day, Mark Stoops has never proved to do anything elite. They're not the elite of the SEC. Georgia will absolutely annihilate Kentucky. Good for them, but they are Kentucky.
Yeah, they have a bye week this week. Then they play Vanderbilt, go to Mizzou, and then that Georgia game that you were talking about. My thing with Kentucky is I hope that this doesn't start some kind of spiral where they go out of control. Because like you said, they could finish 10-2, and that would be really great for that football team. And I kind of like to poke you about Kentucky because
I won't shut up about it.
Yeah, so I mean, I hope they finish that, but I just hope this doesn't start some kind of like downward spiral where they lose control and they finish 7-5 or whatever.
I don't think it will be. I think that they'll be okay, especially because the teams that they do play outside of maybe Mizzou and Georgia, obviously Missouri is not a Georgia-like team, but they can score a lot of points on offense. So that is one to watch out as well. Your Michigan Wolverines got a big win in the Big House. Granted, it was Maryland.
Yeah.
Miami came all the way back to beat their rival Florida State, 20 points down, 128-27. Now let's get into the Big 12. OU, they were down 21 points in the fourth quarter. They came all the way back and tied it with Texas.
And still lost.
By Dicker the kicker with 9 seconds left, hit a field goal. That dude is a legend in Austin. I'm happy. The one day a year I'm a Longhorn fan was this Saturday. I'm glad they beat OU. Apparently put up enough points to get Mike Stoops fired as defensive coordinator. So that is another headline that we'll get into if we have time. Did you learn anything new about Texas? Because here's what I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that no matter how good or bad Texas or OU are, this is always a competitive game.
Yes. And like you said, it's always a competitive game no matter how bad Texas is. These past couple of years, they've been close a couple times. I don't know if it taught me enough about Texas, but it definitely shined a light on something that we've all thought for a long time. OU's defense is holding them back from ever making the national championship game. And they kind of, they made a move that hopefully is going to improve that by firing Mike Stoops. But I don't know if it really taught me anything about Texas, except Sam Ehlinger didn't turn it over in clutch time. That's all that told me.
Yeah, Sam Ehlinger was impressive.
Yes.
I will give Texas credit. I think they are finally getting to a place of people actually, outside of pulling the, Texas is a back plug, which I did before. They're going to the Big 12 championship game. Now, seriously, if they play like that, they have the talent to get to the Big 12 championship game.
But that's the question. Can they play like that? Because,
Yeah, and that is a good question because
they lost to Maryland again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions still about this team.
They have been very streaky,
Yeah.
not only just under Tom Herman, but if they get a big win, they fall back down to earth, like the win over Notre Dame a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And they finished 7-5. So we'll see if they can come out and respond and win big next week.
I mean, they play Baylor. So
if they
it's
win
in
big,
Austin.
I will be a little bit worried about the Longhorns.
Yeah, because, after Baylor, they get a bye week, and then they come here to Stillwater.
Yeah, that's unfortunate
homecoming.
that we both have a bye week. You'd
Yeah.
like to see us have a bye week and they have to play, but it is what it is. West Virginia got a big win over Kansas. It was an all right win. Kansas actually kept it close. You got 3 red zone turnovers, but at the end of the day, West Virginia was too much. Winning
38-22.
22, yeah. K-State lost to Baylor
By a field goal. And that's kind of what we talked about. That's a game. Both teams are so bad. It's whoever's at home.
Lovable losers.
Win. Yeah.
The interesting one was here in Stillwater, at least for us.
Yeah.
It was not interesting around the country because it was Iowa State and a depleted Oklahoma State team. Oklahoma State lost 48-42 to a freshman quarterback for the second time this year. That's the fifth loss. Might be 7 at the end of the year. 5th loss in Boone Pickens Stadium in the last 2 years.
Yeah. And I think, what are we on the road? I think we've only lost 4 games on the road.
We
in
have
the
the
past couple
4th
years.
longest winning streak on the road in the country right now.
I mean,
Go ahead.
It's baffling how bad this team plays at home sometimes. And, the offensive line is a big issue. I think everyone kind of came to that realization on Saturday. Cornelius played as well as he could. I think Mike Gundy said, but he was running for his life.
Yeah.
And that was true. The offensive line needs to get fixed. If him or Justice Hill. Justice Hill has to do a lot of work to make guys miss in the backfield. And that's not a recipe for success. So I don't know what they can do to fix up this O-line because they've been moving guys around already. So,
Yeah, the offensive line was atrocious.
Yeah.
The crowd, shame on them, shame on the student section, and shame on the people who weren't there because I know it was a little bit of rain. You got scared of that, and we lost at home. But come on, that crowd was a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah.
The student section was a joke. Show up. Just show up. I know that most of you have nothing better to do on a Saturday afternoon than go to the game. You have nothing. You want to enjoy it and have glory when we win? Well, suck it up and deal with it when we lose because we're supposedly a family here. That's what, loyal and true, show up to the game because Logan and I have stuff to do. I know most of you don't, and some of you do, and that's respect. We're in college. A lot of us work. But come on, go to the game. It was 2:30 on a Saturday. It makes me, it's disgusting. It's what it is.
I have nothing to add to that, again.
Because everyone wants to enjoy it and everyone wants to tout it when they're good. They're not that bad. They're 4-2. They put up 42 points. They probably should have won that game if Tylen Wallace hangs on.
Yeah.
But don't turn on the players and don't turn on the coaches. Jim Knowles has been here 6 games. It can get better, and I believe it will. They are still learning.
Yeah.
Was it a little bit ridiculous that they were that shocked by Purdy coming in, Brock Purdy? It was a little bit ridiculous that happened. But you turn the corner. You go to Kansas State. Your schedule is going to get a lot tougher.
Yeah. Iowa State was one of the last ones at the beginning of the year we thought was one of the easy Big 12 games.
Yeah.
And like you said, the next one's K-State. And then after that, it gets really tough. We play Texas for homecoming, then we're at Baylor, then at OU, and then West Virginia comes here, and then TCU, and then we go to TCU. That last stretch of 3 and 5, I'm counting Texas in that. That's a lot of games that we're not going to be favored in. I'm not going to say we're not going to win, but we're certainly not going to be favored to win, and it's going to be a battle to win those. And yeah, like you said, you got to be there to support them no matter what. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter after the game calling for Mike Yurcich's job, saying it's time for Gundy to go. And that's such an overreaction, and it's so ridiculous. Because, I mean, how many 10-win seasons have we had in a row?
3.
3. That's more than this program has ever had in the previous, 50 years before?
Yeah.
Before Mike Gundy got here. So.
And I know we have to get to a break here, and we will. But if you are an Oklahoma State fan out there and you want to find something better than Mike Yurcich, you think you can find something better than Mike Gundy, you're clueless. You're clueless. Number 1 offense in the country last year. It literally does not get any better than being number 1. They're number 6 right now? Yeah. They put up 42 points on Saturday. Come on. You think you can do better than that? You can't. You can't do better than number 1. It does not get any better. The defense has to get better. I think they will. Jim Knowles is 6 games in. Give it some time. We're going to go to a break. We will be right back and break down the NFL after a word from our sponsors. You're watching One on One on Ocean Student Radio, KXUI, Sunlink Channel 112.
One on One is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
Cast for Crazy to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
Whenever it was the Big 8, so.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back to One on One on Ocean Student Radio, KXUI, Sunlink Channel 112. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Mosier. The NFL yesterday.
That was a great play. I'm glad someone ran a trick play that wasn't the Philly special.
Yeah, but that wasn't the greatest play of that game yesterday, though. 63-yard kick from Graham Gano to win the game. 63 yards.
Was that an NFL record?
I believe
it was some kind of record.
64, I think. Maybe the longest game winning. I don't know.
Maybe.
I think the longest one took place in Denver.
It's that mile-high air.
Yeah,
It can
Graham
fly.
Gano could kick it a mile in Denver with that kick yesterday. That was impressive. But if we have time, I want to talk about Odell's comments about that. But we make our predictions on Friday.
Yes.
And I think there should be an asterisk next to our Chiefs picks because
Reed always picks against. We'll just say it right now. Reed always picks against the Chiefs because he loves the Chiefs.
And they win when I pick against them.
As long as he thought they would win, but he can't pick them.
Yeah, we're just going to put an asterisk next to that. We both said the Bengals would win. We were wrong on the Browns, Ravens. Baker was okay, not John Elway. Get a clue. The Jags, Chiefs, as we said, that asterisk. You said I had the Eagles. They are really hungover.
I was about to say, I think last week they proved they have a Super Bowl hangover. It's a good thing they won.
Yeah, because Vikings throttled them. The Eagles probably will not make the playoffs. I'll just say that now. The Rams, barely pulled it off in Seattle.
Yep.
And the Chargers took care of the Raiders because the Raiders are awful. So we did pretty good. You did a little bit better than me. We'll leave that asterisk next to the Chiefs game. The Bengals came back to beat the Dolphins. They are 4-1. The Rams and Chiefs are the only undefeated team, and there's the Bengals at 4-1.
Yep.
Everyone else is just not good. Do you think the Bengals are a legitimate threat in the AFC North?
Yeah.
You think Andy Dalton, when it comes down to it,
not Andy Dalton, but the Bengals,
a little over a quarter of the way through the season,
yeah,
you think that at 4-1 they are a legitimate threat to the 3-2 Ravens and the 2-1 Steelers
to win the division? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes.
And don't laugh at me when I ask this.
Okay.
Because as jokingly as a question as it is, there is a hint of seriousness to it.
Okay.
Do the Browns have a shot at winning the AFC North? They're 2-1. They are a half game behind the Ravens, tied with the Steelers, and obviously we know the Bengals are 4-1. So that division is really close.
Yeah,
they haven't played the Bengals yet.
I'm looking at their schedule. I'm gonna say no.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you.
I understand where you're coming from though, but
yeah, like I said, like a tiny hint of seriousness.
Yeah, I mean they still have to play at Pittsburgh versus your Chiefs. And then
go Chiefs.
At the Bengals, at Houston, which I think it's tough to play the Texans at home.
If you're the Dallas Cowboys, yes.
Versus Carolina, then at Denver, which I hope Denver loses. I'll explain that later if we have time. And then against the Bengals again, and then at Baltimore. I don't think with that schedule. I know it's a last place schedule, but I still don't think they have the chance to win the division.
Yeah, I think they're going to win probably 6 or 7 games. I really do. I think that they've got an edge to them now. They won yesterday in overtime by the worst game-winning field goal I have ever seen. Their kicker missed 2 earlier in the game.
Yep.
Just a knuckleball field goal that barely went in. Mayfield 25-43, 342 yards and a touchdown. Good, not great, but better than what the Browns have had since Bernie Kosar. And that is not an exaggeration. The Chargers beat the Raiders 26-10. The Raiders are
bad.
The Raiders are 1-4. I don't know that they win another game. Maybe 2 or 3 more games, but I don't think that they're going to have a dominating win ever. Because they barely beat the Browns.
No. Yeah.
And they shouldn't have beat the Browns.
Yeah.
The refs screwed the Browns out of that win. The Browns should be, 3-1-1? They really should be.
Yeah, and the Raiders are going to have to catch someone. That's how they win another game. I'm with you on that. They're not going to dominate anyone. They're not going to take control of a game. They're going to have to catch someone at the end of the season maybe when they're not really playing for anything. And
it'll probably be the Chiefs, let's be honest. It's happened before. The Vikings, as we talked about, that Super Bowl hangover, beat the Eagles. It was 23-21. It wasn't that close. The Eagles scored late. The Eagles are,
they're having some issues.
Take the aspirin, drink some water, and take a nap and eat some fried food because they are so hungover. It is bad. Bad.
Yeah.
Hot take, replace Wentz with Nick Foles because that's when you really win. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke, Anissa. Anissa's jaw just hit the floor. Jay Ajayi is complaining about the play call, saying they don't make sense. Well, guess what, Jay Ajayi? That crazy play call won you a Super Bowl, so deal with it. Go back to Miami if you have complaints.
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, when we start thinking about that, you're okay. Although the Dolphins have a better record than the Eagles. Graham Gano, as we said, hit that 63-yard thing, the field goal, not the thing. Odell earlier in the week is complaining about Eli. What he said, absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. Eli Manning is awful. The only way he's getting a 60-yard touchdown is if he hits a slant and takes it 60 yards. It's all on Eli Manning. Maybe not all on Eli Manning, but he is a big part of that struggling offense.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what he said. But you have to have the self-awareness not to say that stuff. That's why they didn't want to pay you in the first place.
Yeah.
You don't say anything stupid or do anything stupid for 3 months and everyone thinks, okay, Odell's grown up a little. And then he goes in an interview with Lil Wayne. Why Lil Wayne was there, I don't even know why he was there. But he was there, and he agreed because, we said it was right. But you should have the self-awareness as a superstar to avoid those type of questions.
Do you think I'm not saying this is a good idea. Do you think he's do you think he thinks this is some kind of leadership? He's challenging
With him,
Eli,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because, I mean...
But you can't challenge a 50-year-old noodle arm. I mean, listen, Eli Manning wants to win.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Eli Manning is just, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
It was over a couple years ago.
Yeah, they have to make a change, and they missed a great class of quarterbacks.
I was about to say, did they make a mistake in taking Saquon Barkley?
Well, I mean, you're seeing the highlights there. Saquon is the most talented rookie running back now, but running backs don't win you Super Bowls.
Yeah, they have a short shelf life.
Win you Super Bowls. Would you take Saquon for the next 10 years or Tom Brady for the next 5? I'm taking Tom for the next 5.
Yeah.
That's how important the quarterback position is, and they missed a really good class. I don't know that this class coming up has a franchise quarterback, maybe that kid from Oregon who you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
The Rams get an easy win. Barely get a win over the Seahawks, 33-31. Sean McVay outcoached Pete Carroll. Surprise there, not really. The Texans beat the Cowboys. That was the worst Sunday night game.
Are Jason Garrett and Bill O'Brien fighting for first coach fired? Is that what was going on? That was awful.
Yeah, it wasn't it was actually a good, bad game. It was a sloppy game, but it was really close. Went down to the end. Obviously, the Texans got that field goal in overtime.
And I mean, Jerry Jones is coming out criticizing Jason Garrett for punting. And did you hear what Jason Garrett said in defense of that?
Well, I mean, it was Frank Reich last week.
Yeah.
I mean, it could go either way. If it works, you look like a genius. If it doesn't, you get criticized. We've seen it play out both ways with Jason Garrett and Frank Reich with the Colts last week.
But if you have Ezekiel Elliott, you don't think you can punch it for 1 yard?
Well, you probably could. I probably would have gone for it. But, I mean, you saw both sides of it happen. So you never know. Jerry Jones complaining is nothing new. The Chiefs, however, Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if they finished with the gold jacket or they're just keeping it clean because it was raining yesterday. But fit them, baby, because the Chiefs won 30-14. They're 5-0. Third 5-0 start under Andy Reid. Granted, no playoff wins came under that.
How do those end usually?
It is a different time, Logan, because we have a quarterback, and that defense stepped up big yesterday.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Blake Bortles isn't very good, but that defense was impressive yesterday. The Chiefs played with a chip on their shoulder. It was another impressive win.
Yeah, it's crazy. Blake Bortles makes the Chiefs defense look that good. Yeah. 4 interceptions.
Yeah, and a fumble.
Yeah, and I mean, Patrick Mahomes didn't have the greatest game ever. Only a rushing touchdown, 300 yards, I believe, and 2 interceptions.
But that's what good quarterbacks do.
Yeah, they still win the game.
He has an effect on the game, and it doesn't show up on the stat sheet.
Right.
The first interception and a couple for Blake Bortles, I won't put on them because the ball was wet, and you saw it in slow motion. It just kind of squirted out. So a couple of those for Blake Bortles as well. But the second interception, Mahomes got a little cocky, tried to sneak it in there. And against a defense like that, they're going to make you pay.
Yeah.
And they did. But ultimately, the Chiefs had a pretty dominant win.
Yes. And I think they're going to have a couple more throughout the season. And I'm interested to see if it's different in the playoffs this time. I hope it is for your sake.
Well, they got to make the playoffs.
You deserve
first.
something, Reed. You deserve to be happy.
I do deserve to be happy. We're 4-2 in Stillwater. I'm still loyal and true.
Yep.
I'll still love my Chiefs no matter what. But I really, for my sanity, I want to be happy around Christmas. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to be happy at the turn of the year. I want to be happy, and the Chiefs they really make me a little frustrated.
Well, I mean, last year they let a quarterback throw a touchdown pass to himself.
Just stop.
It's rough. It's rough sometimes.
I hope the Broncos are bad for a decade.
We're gonna be bad this year, Reed. Trust me. We're gonna tank, and we're gonna pick first overall. We're on the clock, and we're gonna take that kid from Oregon, Justin Herbert, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, he'll probably turn out just like Paxton Lynch.
No, don't say that. Please
Rocky Mountain High, Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian. I mean, he should have just stuck with selling houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna get it right. John Elway is not good. We're gonna draft a quarterback in every round, and one of them's going to stick.
Well,
we have to.
By the way, if you're Mason Crosby, ouch. 4 missed field goals yesterday. The Cardinals get their first win over the 49ers. 49ers bad. Odell's complaining. Jerry Jones complaining. The Eagles are hungover. Monday night game tonight that we'll talk about. Probably on Friday because we have Robert Allen on Wednesday. But an interesting weekend in the NFL. We're going to come back and talk about some NBA basketball as the season starts here in a couple weeks. We'll be right back. You're watching One on One on Ocean Student Radio KXUI, Suddenlink Channel 112.
One on One is brought to you by Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back to One on One on Ocean Student Radio KXUY, Suddenlink Channel 112. We're going to get into some NBA stuff, Logan. As you see there, J.R. Smith does not want to catch Marcus Smart's hands because I will just say it now. If Marcus Smart and J.R. Smith got in a ring, it would be Khabib Conor McGregor. J.R. Smith would get choked out and or knocked out. J.R. Smith has no chance in a fight with Marcus Smart. Zero chance.
I agree. And, you know, J.R. Smith wants to act like, oh, Marcus Smart flopped, so he can't be a tough guy.
Yeah, YouTube J.R. Smith flopping, and you could spend an entire workday watching J.R. Smith flop and make a fool out of himself. Listen, Marcus Smart didn't know the score of a game in the finals, so I get he flops, but he's scrappy, and he's a
guy you want.
He's an important part to the Celtics. He doesn't get enough credit at how good at defense he is. J.R. Smith, just stop.
I agree, like the general public doesn't give him enough credit, but if you're like an NBA guy and you watch basketball, you know how important he is. And that was a big signing for them in the offseason. And another guy the Celtics are supposedly going to keep is what he says. It's Kyrie Irving. Came out in the preseason game and said he was going to re-sign with the Celtics at the end of the season, and I think that's the right move. I think that's the best situation for Kyrie Irving. Do you disagree?
No, I'm just saying this is going to be the ultimate Cold Takes Exposed tweet when he signs with the Knicks, which Colicchio would like. if Colicchio might die if that happens, like he would just it would be over because he would be so happy. But I do think that is the best scenario for him, for Kyrie. I don't know that it's the best scenario for the Celtics because they're going to have to pay him a lot of money for a long time. But they have a really good young roster. That's the best situation for Kyrie. But when this stuff like this happens this early on, it makes me a little nervous for Kyrie and Celtics fans. By the way, back to J.R. Smith really quickly, fight your tattoo artist because no one should ever give you a Supreme tattoo on your calf. That's who you should be trying to fight.
Hey, don't blame the tattoo guy. If J.R. Smith's willing to pay you, do whatever he says.
Oh,
I mean,
just a terrible tattoo. You're fighting.
There's like a gnat around here,
and I'm fighting a fly here in studio. So Kyrie is staying there. Marcus Smart would beat up J.R. Smith. Those are some interesting headlines.
Yes.
But the biggest one, at least over the last few weeks, is Jimmy Butler and the Timberwolves. He wants traded. It almost happened with the Miami Heat.
It fell apart, though.
I will give you credit. You were now there was NBA guys who probably knew this before you, Logan. I won't give you that much credit, but I will give you credit because at least around here, you were saying Miami far before anyone else. I will give you credit on that one. You are very smart.
Thank you.
You know your NBA. You said that trade was a possibility. It still is.
Yes.
But it was close and it fell through.
And I think that's Tom Thibodeau sabotaging that. He's cutting the legs out from under this thing because it could have been done.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want him gone. Yeah. For the sake of the Timberwolves, he should be gone because he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He's going to be a distraction. You got to move forward. I know he said he'd play if he's still there when the regular season starts, but he doesn't want to be there. That's a locker room problem. And in this Western Conference, you can't have that. You can't have any distractions going on that could take away easy wins. And I don't have the Timberwolves schedule up in front of me right now, but you can't start out.
Well, it's a long schedule, Logan.
Yeah.
It's 82 games.
I was just going to look at the beginning because, you can't start slow.
Yeah.
If
Not
you start
in the West.
slow, yeah. If you start slow in the Western Conference, like, you're done. You're almost done from the get-go.
Yeah. So I think you're right. Tibbs is probably doing everything he can, but Jimmy Butler doesn't want to be there. So just make the trade because it's over now. He doesn't want to be a Timberwolf. He's not going to be happy. He's not going to be productive.
And he's not going to resign.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't understand Tom Thibodeau. I don't think anyone does. So on to Phoenix.
Yes.
They fired their general manager today, a week before the season starts. A lot of people came out and were happy that they fired him.
Yeah.
Can you give me an insight as to why they fired their general manager today?
I guess because they didn't want to do it in the offseason. Because, we saw it with the Sixers. You don't want to go through an offseason without a GM. You lose out on guys like LeBron and Paul George and that kind of stuff.
To be fair, the Suns never really had a chance at landing a free agent anyways.
But on draft night, you need a guy that can make calls, that knows guys. And I can't understand why they fired him now, except for they want to get his position filled as soon as possible before the trade deadline. It's not that big a deal that they don't have one because, like you said, they're not really in play for anybody. They were a potential third team in the deal for Jimmy Butler, but I think that fell through a long time ago because they couldn't get like Jeff Teague or Tyus Jones from the Wolves. So it's not like a huge deal, but a lot of guys apparently didn't like him. I think that's part of the move. Maybe wanting to make Devin Booker a little bit more happy. Some of the younger guys, Josh Jackson, those guys might not have had the greatest relationship with him. So I think that's kind of part of the reason he's gone now.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the Suns other than they have a lot of young talent and they can't do anything with it. But it is a weird time to fire anybody. But more will obviously come out about that. Now, let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks because we've talked about them a lot a couple weeks ago, especially after Mark Cuban paid the $10 million to the charity and they, you could consider that a fine or a suspension. They have more problems. Their team photographer, it has now come out that there's accusations against him for sexual assault.
Yes.
They got rid of him. But how, going through all that,
that you let this guy slip through?
That he falls through the cracks of it all. How does that happen?
It's not good. It's not good.
And this is completely reading what I've read and just hearing stuff. I'm not in the Mavs organization. I'm not a prominent person in the media who talks to people. But it just looks like another oversight, and they're not paying enough attention to this stuff. And it seems to me, when you hear this stuff, you haven't learned your lesson.
Yeah, for sure. This is such a bad look for the Mavs and Mark Cuban.
It's ridiculous.
He went on the jump. He made that big, heartfelt apology. It looked heartfelt,
Yeah, air quotes around heartfelt.
Yeah, and they messed up again. Like, this guy fell through the cracks. Even after the NBA conducted their own investigation and found that there were several employees, current and former, that were part of the problem as well. That's what surprises me, that this guy even fell through the NBA investigation. And, I mean, to the Mavs' credit, when the allegations came out, it wasn't long, and he was gone. I think they came out on Friday, is that correct? And
yes.
He was fired by Monday. So I think they're moving in the right direction, but like you said, they may not have learned their lesson the first time around, and they were doing what they could to avoid kind of a second backlash with this guy. It's a good thing he's gone. I think the Mavs are serious about turning it around because Mark Cuban is a businessman first, and that's bad for business.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mark Cuban likes that, and I genuinely think Mark Cuban loves the Dallas Mavericks. I think it's his favorite business, and it's the one he says he's the most hands-on with, and he doesn't want his name attached to that kind of stuff. And as well as I'm sure he doesn't like that women are being sexually assaulted by his employees.
No, but his name is tied to it and forever will be.
Yes.
So hopefully they get it cleaned up in Dallas. Bad news for the Spurs.
Yeah.
DeJounte Murray tore his right ACL.
Yes, he's out for the year. And Lonnie Walker, their first-round draft pick out of Miami, tore his MCL earlier in the preseason, I believe. So that's two key guys that you had. DeJounte Murray, obviously, replacing Tony Parker, who opted to leave for Charlotte to play a bigger role behind Kemba Walker. And I bet he's looking at this like, man, I wish I had stayed. I'm assuming he's not glad that DeJounte got hurt, but he could have had a bigger role in San Antonio again. He would have been the starting point guard for the Spurs this season. And, we wouldn't have this chapter of Tony Parker being lost in Charlotte. These are like the lost years for Tony Parker, and he could have avoided that. So I'm looking at DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge, who had a good year last year. Both those guys did. They're going to have to step up big. And DeMar DeRozan's going to have to figure out the Spurs system quick, or kind of like the Wolves, they're going to fall in a hole. And that's not something you can afford to do. They've made the playoffs in the past 21 years. I think they're 1 shy of the record, 1 year shy. And that would be big for Greg Popovich to kind of end his coaching career by breaking that record and never missing the playoffs as a head coach.
Yeah, I kind of thought that Pop probably should have retired last year because it seems like the writing is on the wall and some things happen in Greg Popovich's personal life, and that shouldn't affect
stuff like that.
Whether he wants to stay. That's up to him. But I'm talking about on the court. Mm-hmm. It kind of seems to me that the Spurs are slowly fading into the dark. Like you said, you don't want to. It's always better to leave on top, or at least in the playoffs, than it is to leave losing and not making the playoffs. I don't think the Spurs make the playoffs this year. Not in the West.
Do.
A 7 or 8 seed or higher.
7 or 8 seed. I think they kind of squeak in, kind of like they did last year. I mean, when you look at it, they made the playoffs without Kawhi Leonard last year. You get 9 games from Kawhi, and then you add DeMar DeRozan, and you're going to try and keep LaMarcus Aldridge playing at what he was last year. They really got better before these injuries, so I still think they're going to make the playoffs. I think it's going to be tougher for them, but I think Pop's too good to not make the playoffs. I think he's too good of a coach to not make it work.
Well, we're going to find out.
We are, for sure. And I agree. I kind of agree with what you said. He should have maybe left when Tim Duncan did, because that's really when it seemed like the Spurs were gone.
It was over.
Tim Duncan was such a figure in the locker room. He kept guys in line because, he led by example. He let Pop coach him, so no one was above that. And then, he leaves. Then you see this stuff with Kawhi. Then Manu Ginobili retires. Then Tony Parker leaves. And now you're left with kind of a husk of what we've known of the San Antonio Spurs. The only guy, off the top of my head, that's important from the past couple of years is LaMarcus Aldridge. And 2 years ago, fans were calling for him to leave. He was so bad that people were calling for his job. People wanted him out of San Antonio. That's kind of flipped with the whole Kawhi situation. That kind of turned the tides on him. But it's going to be, I think this is the biggest challenge of Pop's coaching career, being without any Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And it'll be a struggle to make the playoffs, but I think he can get it done.
Well, it'll be an interesting season in San Antonio. Now, a team, or a city rather, that needs a team. Yeah. The Thunder, Sonics at the time, left Seattle. The Warriors played a game in Seattle. Was it Friday night?
Yeah.
A preseason game. It was amazing. The environment was great. Props to Kevin Durant. He played it up. Kevin Durant's smarter than people give him credit for.
I like what he did. Came out in the Sean Kemp jersey, but why not wear your own Sonics jersey, Kevin?
That was something that
You played there. They have your jersey.
That was a thought I had as well. It was a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, just wear
your own.
You're
not Sean Kemp. You're Kevin Durant.
Yeah, and it's a preseason game. He could play in the thing.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he just play in your own Sonics jersey.
You think, I don't know, maybe he wanted to play it up to like a Sonics legend because he was only there for a year, and they were awful. But
no, that's one way to put it.
Seattle definitely deserves a team back. I think they're first in line when it comes to an expansion, which I don't think the NBA should do. I think they should relocate a team, but I'm not going to get into that right now.
Yeah, expansion team is just...
It dilutes the league too much, and people are already complaining about the lack of parity. Expansion, it causes a lot of problems.
The Clippers should move.
Yes.
The Clippers should leave LA. Look at Steve Ballmer's ties to Seattle with Microsoft. LA doesn't need the Lakers or the Clippers. Excuse me. They have the Lakers. They don't need anything more. The Clippers are always going to be second class in Los Angeles. Always. Even when they were better than the Lakers for 5-6 seasons, people only cared about the Lakers.
Exactly.
So just move out. Yeah. Move out to Seattle.
And, you know, a lot of people up there might not like what I'm about to say, but Kevin Durant needs to end his career in a Seattle jersey. Yeah. He can go wherever he wants at the end of this year, but Seattle better get a team before Kevin Durant leaves the league, and he better finish his career there, not in Oklahoma City.
Where it started, where it mattered, they raised Kevin Durant. I know they're infuriated up there.
So
they're so infuriated. Why do I say that? Because they get so mad here about Kevin Durant. But you're right. Seattle definitely deserves a team far and away more than anyone else. So we will take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about Major League Baseball and the playoffs, and maybe Jason Colicchio's name will come up because the Yankees are tied with the Red Sox. We'll be right back after a quick break. You're watching One on One on Ocean Student Radio KXUI, Sunlink Channel 112.
One on One is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They are also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to One on One on Ocean Student Radio KXUI, Sunlink Channel 112. We're going to talk about Major League Baseball. It is October. October is over. But we're going to start with the highlights you're seeing. The New York Yankees went into Fenway and stole one. They probably should have won Friday night. They had the bases loaded several times and couldn't get it done. But they went back to Fenway the next day and rocked the Red Sox. The New York Yankees are back. The pinstripes are coming out tonight at home in the Bronx. I would be scared if I were the Red Sox.
I would be scared for more than one reason if I'm the Red Sox. Their bullpen has been exposed.
Yeah.
It's going to hold this team back, I think. You know, on Friday I was like, maybe they can hold on. Maybe their bullpen can put together enough innings.
No.
I don't think that's possible.
No. Yeah, the Yankees had a really good chance Friday night. They should be up 2-0 in this series. They could be, should be. But the Red Sox, I think it kind of shows how they, what they're worried about because they're changing 4 guys in their lineup. Steve Pearce, Brock Holt, Rafael Devers, Eduardo Nunez, Mitch Moreland, and Ian Kinsler are getting Nunez, Moreland, and Kinsler are getting replaced. Yeah. Devers, Pearce, and Holt are replacing them. That's a changeup
Yeah.
in the lineup. That shows a little panic if you're the Red Sox to me.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it on Friday. Did you mention in this series or in the Astros series where managers were going to play a big role?
This one.
Yeah, and you see it right there. Do you think the Red Sox are kind of overreacting?
No, because in all fairness, baseball has a lot of strategic moves.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of panic in the Red Sox because of how close the first game was and how dominant the Yankees were. I mean, David Price, Colicchio said it best. Everyone who knows baseball knows David Price. Why does he even show up past September? Don't even pay the guy. Because in the playoffs, David Price isn't very good. And in the press conference after, I still have confidence. David Price, if you still have confidence for yourself in October, good on you because no one else does. The Yankees rocked you. You didn't even get 6 outs. 6. You couldn't get through 2 innings in playoff baseball. The Yankees lineup is that good. And Stanton's good in Yankee Stadium. You don't have to hit it very hard to get out.
No.
Judge, walking past out of Fenway, playing New York. I know Colicchio's got goosebumps. The Yankees showed enough in Game 1 that I thought it could happen. I know it can happen now. I'm not necessarily saying it will.
Yeah.
I think the Yankees have enough to win the World Series. But if I were a Red Sox fan, I would be a little concerned about how well the Yankees have played.
Yeah, I know I'm kind of looking forward, but do you think the Yankees have enough to take down the Astros?
Oh, they absolutely have enough. If the Yankees have good enough pitching, they have what it takes to make a deep run. I don't know that it will happen. A lot of stuff has to happen. They'd have to get a little lucky to beat the Houston Astros. But if they can win 2 in Yankee Stadium,
Yeah.
they're 2 games away. And I really am cheering for the New York Yankees because I want Jason Colicchio to sit right in between us and sing Frank Sinatra, New York. I want to see Jason rock a Yankees jersey. He's got his Jets jersey on today.
Yeah, poking fun at me, my miserable Broncos.
Savior Sam went off against the Broncos. That is embarrassing.
Hey, Savior Sam was the Broncos' highest rated quarterback, so can't be that mad.
At one
He's
time,
giving me a thumbs up.
At one time, Paxton Lynch and Brock Osweiler were your QB1s. So
yeah. Don't remind me, Reed.
I will remind you every day until it's all over. I love when the Broncos are bad. But this playoff series is really interesting.
Yes.
Really quickly, who do you think wins tonight? It's Porcello versus Luis Severino. Who do you have in Yankee Stadium?
The Yankees.
Give me the Yankees all day long. Can you give me a quick score on the Yankees?
Oh, my gosh. 7-3.
8-3.
Okay.
Yankees win. Yankees. I love doing this because I know how happy it makes Jason Colicchio.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, I have been really impressed with how well the Yankees have played so far, especially how far they got down in Game 1 and fought their way back and got that close. I'm buying in on these Yankees. Right now, the Houston Astros are up 4-2 over the Cleveland Indians at the top of the 7th. They're trying to sweep the Indians.
And it looks like they're going to get it done. I'm not going to speak too quickly because, still 2 innings basically to go, but I think the Indians missed their window, and that's really sad.
Yeah. Well, their window was
1 year.
Bottom of the 9th against in 2016 against the Chicago
7.
Cubs, and they allowed the Cubs to come all the way back.
I blame the rain delay. That rain delay in that game changed the whole game.
Changed the course of history.
It did. And, there's probably a lot of Cubs fans around here because those guys kind of popped out of the woodwork whenever they won that World Series. But I loved seeing those Cubs fans suffer. 108 years? That was too short. We need another drought like that.
108 years.
I enjoy stuff
like
that.
I don't know if we need it to go that far. Well, what's the streak for the Thunder?
1970.
Well, no, the Thunders that came here in 2000.
No, we stole that championship from Seattle. So I'm counting
no,
that.
it
so
does
it's
not
even bigger.
count. It does not count.
It's even bigger.
Okay. Well, maybe they'll turn the corner. I did make a mistake. Nathan Eovaldi is starting over Porcello. Porcello will go in Game 4. Either way, it doesn't matter. If sometimes Severino, it can get away from him quickly. But if he is on, he's on.
Yeah.
So we'll know about 2 innings in who's going to win this game.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be the New York Yankees. Hopefully.
I agree.
We need Colicchio on the set of one-on-one. As I said, Astros are looking to sweep the
Bases
Indians.
loaded.
Rocktober is over in Denver. The Brewers, Game 1 was really close. They walked off with Moustakas. Game 2 was close for 7 innings. Game 3, the Brewers,
not even close.
It wasn't close.
And I don't know, this might have just been me, but even after Game 1, I didn't feel like it was close, regardless of what the scoreboard said.
Yeah, and that's.
But I've kind of been down on the whole team. Like, I didn't think they'd win the wild card game because they had to go. What was it? 2 LA, then 2
Denver,
Chicago.
LA, Chicago,
all in 3
Milwaukee.
days.
Yeah,
So,
4 cities in 5 days.
Yeah, it's not a good recipe for success. But Rocktober lasted
4 days longer than it did last year.
I was trying to 4 times longer than last year. That's an improvement.
Yeah,
So,
good on you, Rockies.
Yeah, you gotta take it. You gotta take what you can get.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
The Rockies do have a lot of talent on that team, and they're staying. They do have a chance to be good. Unfortunately, you're in a league with or division with the Diamondbacks and Dodgers, and you kind of beat each other up. So and the Giants, even though the Giants are bad, they are just sneaky. But we'll see where the Rockies go from there. But they did make the playoffs. They did get a series, but Rocktober is over, and the Dodgers, kind of with the Braves, they dominated the first 2 games. Acuna goes deep for a grand slam yesterday, and the Braves win a game in Atlanta. I don't think that the Braves have a chance to beat the Dodgers.
I don't either.
2 more times.
No, I don't know if the Dodgers are going to win today or whenever they play their next game, but it's not going to a Game 5. Dodgers are going to take care of business, and I hate picking them to go back to the World Series, but I might still have to do that.
I think they can beat the Brewers.
I was about to say I would have to see Game 1, which I know is kind of a cop-out, but I think the Dodgers are still the team to beat.
Well, it is a 7-game series. I think these NLDS should be 7-game series. I'm not big on the 1-game playoff, the wild card, and I'm not big on the 5-game NLDS. I think it should be.
I agree. It should be
games.
7.
But we'll see. I think the Astros are probably going to sweep the Indians right now.
Yeah.
The Dodgers and Atlanta start at 3:30, and then the Yankees and
6:40.
Boston are tonight at 6:40. Yankee Stadium will be loud. It'll be energetic. One of the best scenes in all of sports is October baseball in Yankee Stadium, especially against the Boston Red Sox. But we're both going Yankees tonight.
Yep.
They still won tomorrow. They're going to the ALCS. So Colicchio and all of us, we're Yankees fans right now. Jason was born that way. Not us, but we're cheering for him. Just see Jason excited. But we'll be back Wednesday with OSU Insider Robert Allen. Thank you guys so much for watching One-on-One on OSU Student Radio KXUI Suddenlink Channel 112. We will see you Wednesday.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided,
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
Cast Prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.